How's it going, Warlords? DarkBritton is taking the stage, and today, I'm going to be on my own. You want to know why? Because here with the Runaway Warlords, we're going to have a Warlord Wrap-up to 2020. It's going to be our way of ending the year off strong and setting us up for 2021. So with this project, I'm actually going to be talking about, my favorite anime for 2020. Some are going to be recommendations, some are just going to be talking about those that we've all just come to love. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. Our first one, we are starting off strong, people, because we want to start off with ReZero. Now, for almost everyone in the anime community, this is going to be our number one. Now, there are going to be certain reasons why and some certain reasons why not. However, the themes that came about through ReZero this season were absolutely outstanding. Biggest gripes with the first season. One, it was over like 4 or 5 years ago, so it's been very long within our minds as far as what's happened, what's taken place. But first and foremost, Subaru showed that while there was a lot of development, there may not have been as much as we would have hoped. So with this season, we got to see a lot of what makes him who he is as far as his background, which was amazing. His mom, I can't remember her name. It's going to come to me. I'll put it right here. But absolutely amazing. The background of him and his dad and what he had to overcome as an individual, which it answers a note that doesn't really get touched on within the isekai genre, especially, is what happens to them in their other lives and what happens to their memories of their loved ones. And while not only touching on Subaru's backstory and who he is and what he was needed to really accomplish and really break through, we got to see a little bit more of just what he left behind and how he came, how he feels about it. Because in most isekai, it's just like, oh, they die, and then they wake up, and then it's all good. Without taking into effect the families that they left behind and how they feel about it. So overall, that premise from the get-go, amazing. Going into the overall storyline, we finally have one. Instead of Subaru just being a jerk-off and just getting lost in his own things, we actually have some type of thread. Save our baby girl, Rem. I miss her. I miss you so much. But at the same time, also being able to get into the mindset of where we want to go next. And that took us into our latest arc, which is where it left off. Unfortunately, it went from summer to winter, so I'm not going to be able to cover it in this 2020 wrap up, but hopefully it'll throw us all a new one in 2021. And within the lead up in this arc, there's a lot going on. Between the new priests that were introduced, the info dumps between the witches, which is insane. Not going to spoil a lot, but Minerva, boom, absolutely amazing. You're amazing. And I'm so looking forward to actually seeing more of these characters. Everyone loves Echidna, but my girl is Minerva out of the witches, and I'll stand for her. With this next one, man, oh man, I'm not going to lie. I did not think that the way Inuyasha left off, that we were going to get such a strong next generation, literally, of shoujo, especially with Boruto being right here. But at the same time, trying to figure out where this new story is going to reside and where it goes has been incredibly fun. At the point of this recording, there's only been probably 5 episodes. I'll put the actual number right here. But up until now, it's been incredibly fun. Getting to see Inuyasha's and Kagome's daughter, Morihora. She pulls out the Iron Reaver, Soul Stealer, and the Blades of Blood. And I'm, as a 32-year-old man, almost lost it. Like, what is happening right now? It's really cool between Setsuna and Toa. It's an interesting dynamic for how these girls work. And now all 3 of them are together back in the feudal area. And right now we're really just starting to see how they really interact and get involved and are going to be moving forward together. I'm interested not only because we see a lot of these past characters now X amount of years later. Sango's little brother. Kira, the fire cat, is still around. What's going on? Shippo is like somewhere. Apparently there's other There's a dog fox, raccoon dog fox demon like Shippo that follows Morohoro around. And also the Miyoka the flea. Of all the characters they bring back, when I saw him jumping up and down, it was a bit of negative nostalgia. That's the thing. Negative nostalgia is the thing. Yeah. But overall, it's been an incredible ride so far. I believe there's only going to be 12 episodes so far. Let's see here. Around 12 episodes for this season. And hopefully it'll be picked up for next one. But Yashahime. And now it's time for the true nanis to begin. Because this next suggestion is going to be Fruits Baskets, the second season. Now, this is going to be one that came out during the summer. 25 amazing episodes. And the entire time was a thrill. From the very beginning where we first caught up to really everyone really coming into their own, to now the new portrayal of Yuki, especially coming out of his own arc, really finding a love interest, which was pretty cool. Finding his version of Kyo that he needs in this time, and then also being able to see the development of Kyo and actually see a lot more of their parents. And it's terrifying. It's quite terrifying when you find out a little bit more about Kyo's parents, sadly. But at the same time, also a little bit more about Yuki and how he interacts with his mom, especially. In the amazing, interesting interaction that comes about since when we find out about how she interacts with Yuki's brother. So overall, an amazing start from beginning to end. I had an amazing connection with Kagure after her and Kyo officially broke it off. Had a similar relationship end at that point. So for me personally, not only catching up with a story that I've been following since I was a kid, because the first season originally came out in 2002, I want to say, was remade last year, and now we get a second season. So 13-year-old Wayne, 32-year-old Wayne are really being able to say, this was a really good story. Even though I'm not necessarily into these slice of lives, this type of slice of life with this really scientific sci-fi aspect is really cool. And I love Fruits Baskets because of it. I love Toru because she really is the antithetical person we all want to be friends with. And then her surrounding group is just endearing to a point where you want to keep watching. For those who have not given Fruits Baskets a chance yet, I highly recommend it. If you want to say it's just for girls, 6'5" man telling you right now, it's an amazing experience. As someone who doesn't even like those lovey-dovey slice of lives. So, this next one is going to be Fire Force.
Oh, God! No! God, please, no!
I know. Come back. Believe me. The first season of Fire Force may have turned a lot of people off. Yes, we are, as anime fans, do like it to be a little ecchi every once in a while. However, the first season, yeah, it was a little much sometimes. But I guarantee you, going into the second season, 1, we have plot, which is a game changer for the entirety of the story. 2, the graphics have been absolutely amazing. And while we have not gotten an absolute banger for the intros and outros that we got with the first season, this second season has left a lot to really be able to get invested in and try to understand as far as what the world has to offer. Starting off, we have what's going on with the burst, the Enola bursts or whatever they're called, which is a very interesting aspect in how it's being developed and how there are possibly more individuals who could possibly be able to have this power. So overall, I know a lot of people have more or less written off Fire Force for a while. However, I promise you, it is pretty good in the second season. With plot, it's gotten pretty good. Animation's still top notch. And where it's at now, we have about 4 or 5 episodes left until the season ends. It's very promising to give us something interesting. As someone who doesn't read the manga, I'm not necessarily sure where this is going to end up, but could be promising. So Fire Force, definitely give it a shot. With Ogun, they introduced a new character. His name is Ogun, and my boy has flaming tattoos, and I was as someone with like all tatted up and who used to have dreads, especially seeing that in an anime character was just amazing. So if anything, watch it for Ogun. Once you see Ogun, you'll be able to call it a day. And this is going. Here we go, people. Here we go. The labor of love. I cannot begin to praise the accolades of Ascendance of a Bookworm. It's going to be 2, because first season came out, I believe it was 2 years ago. But with Season of a Bookworm, Season 2, this came out in the spring. And it's by far one of my favorite anime of the year. My sister and I, for those of you who do not know, my sister is also an anime fan. And we just have these weekends where we just sit down and we just binge anime. And Bookworm was one of them. And it was nice to be able to let it get ahead and catch up, because this is a very much binge show. For those who have not heard of this before, it's an isekai. It's an isekai that follows a young lady who is a librarian who died and came back into a world where all she wants to do is just develop a book. And for those who may like Dr. Stone or may like more world building events, it allows her to take a lot of the, she was brilliant back in our world, and it allows her to take the technology, the ingenuity, and what she's learned into this seemingly medieval era, and is literally turning it on its head. Between everything from books to shampoo to just started pizza, and as she grows and she develops, you can see her changing the world around her. With any type of story and any type of main character, it is very seldom that you get to actually see them impacting the mechanisms of the world around them. With many, they impact the family, they may save a town, but they do not actually impact the structure of how it works. And here comes mine, and she just throws their entire world upside down. It's amazing, not necessarily a thrill ride, but just really a wholesome understanding of how a lot of people can really interact and engage. It's very humanizing. To be completely honest, mine, the main character, isn't even really in my top 5. Her parents, which is very, very interesting for any type of anime in general to have such endearing parents, are in fact some of the more impactful individuals that I've come across. Overall, it's a great story from start to finish. The individuals that you come across are incredibly likable or dislikable. They have a lot of heart and they have a lot of feeling, and it's a story that you can definitely get ingrained into. I very much am looking forward to the antics of Mine, as me and my sister call it, mime tame all the individuals around her and get them to see a side of her and how they can better themselves with her. For those who may have seen it and just glossed over it, I very much implore you, if anything on this list you may want to try, it's going to be Ascendance of a Bookworm. I cannot sing praise of it enough. Go check it out. Mother's Basement did an amazing analysis early, and I very much look forward to seeing what he says about it next. But definitely, Ascendance of a Bookworm. Some of you may be asking why I'm smiling. And I'm smiling because I just did a brief review of this next entry, which is going to be Princess Connect Redive, and it's just adorable. My favorite character in this is Kokoro, and just seeing her again and reliving this was a spring anime. Yeah, spring anime, so it's been a while. So just getting to relive it just reminded me just how endearing it was. Even though this is based off of a video game, which, not for nothing, most video game anime don't really have a plot, and while this one necessarily didn't seemingly have a plot, by the end of it one started to develop. So it's definitely one of those cutesy moe tag along to begin with, but towards the end it definitely sets up a little bit something else, and it's very interesting. So for Princess Connect Redive, I highly advise it. Now, the last one for this list is going to be another labor of love, but it's a new one, and it's very, very interesting, and it's very, very unique. This is going to be Moriarty the Patriot. And what this is, for those of you who may remember the name Moriarty, it's more of an origin story of Professor Moriarty. Sherlock Holmes's arch nemesis. Growing up in London, you get to see the exploits of him and his two brothers and how they go around changing London in a particular way for someone of Moriarty's favor. Now, granted, there's only, 5-6 episodes out so far. However, the entire ride has been 1, beautiful, 2, incredibly directed, and 3, amazingly well written. Throw on top of that the music and all the things happening around them. It's been an amazing ride. So for those who may be interested, definitely go check out Moriarty the Patriot. Thanks for checking out our countdown to the end of the year. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. Stay like us, Warlords. Peace.